friends of the internet. So today I want to share with you all something that I've actually never talked about on this channel before. Those of you new here, hi, welcome, hugs, welcome to the community. For everyone who has been following my channel for a while now, first of all, thank you. You probably know that I figure skate. But something you probably all don't know is that I actually played volleyball competitively growing up for a long time. And I would say that my abilities in volleyball are quite a bit better than my figure skating, which is something that I was deeply passionate about till this day. But unfortunately, I did not have the best relationship with the sport growing up for a multitude of reasons. And I'm making this video today to share my story of how I've taken back ownership of something that I love so much, redefined my relationship with it in my 20s. Essentially my story of how I went from a volleyball player to a figure skater and now to actually doing both in my adult life in my 20s. Really hoping that this video can really reach out there to all of you who may play any sort of sports and maybe going through a rocky journey of your own, whether it's in your middle school, high school, college, or your adult life sports career. So with that said, before diving in, I want to give you guys a little bit of structure. I know, very consultant of me. Truly, it's really just for me to make sure that this is not like a 30-minute trauma dumping session and that it's actually something that can be helpful to all of you out there. 4 parts of my video today are 1, the backstory, 2, taking a break, 3, discovering something new, and 4, redefining my relationship with sports. With that said, let's jump right in. So part 1, the backstory. Sounds like some freaking villain origin story. I've been playing volleyball for most of my functioning years as a human being on this planet. I started in 6th grade, so let's do the math. How many years is that? That's like, I don't know, 15 years? Wow, the conclusion there is I am an old fart now. My primary position was libero, which is the team's defensive specialist, and if you don't know anything about volleyball, you can easily spot us as that one player that's wearing a different colored jersey, and also the player that's on the floor most of the time. I fell in love with volleyball playing freaking concrete volleyball in 6th grade. It was one of the few things at that point in my life that was my first passion. It was like finding your first love, but for not a person, but a thing. Probably extremely bad at it, but I just remembered it being really fun, and there was this kind of childhood innocence to it. When I started middle school, our school had a team, and I convinced my parents. I was like, hey, I really want to do this thing. Hard sell, because if you have Asian parents, you will know the focus for me growing up has always been academics and nothing quite else. Any extracurriculars I did was probably to help support a perfect version of me that will eventually fit an Ivy League school. But somehow I convinced them, because I guess in middle school things weren't quote unquote as serious yet. The more I played volleyball, the more I fell in love with it and started taking it a lot more seriously. I ended up started playing club volleyball or travel ball, which is essentially what you play in the off season. And when I started high school, I started playing for my high school team. The school that I went to in high school actually had a really excellent volleyball team. We actually won the California State Championships one year, and the program is really competitive. With a hyper competitive program comes with a lot of things that may be very difficult to navigate for, let's say, like a 15-year-old kid. Through my career in high school, there were a lot of things I struggled, and if I were to just summarize it in a couple of points so I'm not trauma dumping. So one of the unfortunate things was that some of the girls that I used to play with back then made me feel really othered and not accepted, and that was probably for a multitude of reasons, whether it's the color of my skin, how I looked maybe. There were some people that I became really good friends with and were really good people, but unfortunately I couldn't say that for everyone in my program. I don't want to put too much blame on those people who I would say probably quote unquote bullied me. I would like to hope that they're more mature and just better people now. I'll give you a little anecdote. One particular game, we were all warming up, and usually when people are funneling into the gym to watch our games, we will be playing some sort of like top 50s pop hits at that time kind of playlist, you know, something clean, and the song Gangnam Style came on. And yes, I know this was like a million ages ago, and I know this really dates me and that I am old. One girl on the team just started laughing and pointing at me saying, I bet Kathy would love this song, hinting at the fact that I was Asian and the singer of that song was Asian and the song was partially in Korean. It was just those small microaggressions that were so hard to deal with. I just remember after her saying that to me, I just felt so othered and not part of the team, that when I was playing, I couldn't even really focus on my game properly. Those microaggressions may be small, but over time, they really add up to hurt someone, especially someone in their adolescent years and haven't properly formed and developed a strong mental mindset yet. All of those things made me feel a lot of imposter syndrome, feeling like I didn't belong, and I started kind of blaming myself for that at that time, not really blaming others. And I was just thinking, maybe if I were just this much better at X or this much better at Y, that I would feel more accepted by these people. That ultimately forced myself to put a lot of pressure on my own performance, and I started correlating the performance of my sport to being socially accepted and treated like a human being. The second thing I struggled with were the adults in the picture. There's so many adults in our lives growing up as adolescent beyond our parents that can truly morph us into the type of person we are today, for better or for worse. Fortunately, there were a lot of issues in politics with the coaches, which creates a toxic environment for not just me, but all of the athletes. Coaches will try to pit girls against each other who play the same position. And yes, of course, there's always healthy competition. You want to make each other better on a team, but that doesn't mean that you don't support each other. It kind of created a culture of fear, a culture of competition, and not a culture of working together. And that is the pure essence of a team sport. Like I said before, my parents weren't very supportive of me in sports at that time. Their whole mindset was, if you're not going to play sports professionally, why would you spend your time on something that's never going to bring you quote unquote success in the traditional way? And there was never the narrative that I grew up with that you can just do something because it makes you happy, not because it gives you something in return. I feel like I had to fight my parents every season to let me continue volleyball for one more year. And since my parents weren't very supportive, I didn't want to give them a reason to tell me that I shouldn't play volleyball. I would hide some of the bad things, like the bullying, from the teammates, and I thought that if they knew, it would give them reasons for them to tell me to quit. And all of that just created such a negative relationship with the sport, even though I actually never fallen out of love with the sport. And that leads to part 2. Taking a break. Even though that was not something that I wanted, I ended up taking a break for multitudes of reasons. My parents eventually found out about some of the stuff that were going on our team. Of course, used that as a reason to get me to quit volleyball and remove me from the sport completely. I also had a right knee injury. All of those reasons combined took me out the last season of my high school career. Even though it was ultimately not my choice, I truly believe that everything does happen for a reason, as cliche and stupid as that may sound. My last year in school was pretty heavily focused on academics, and I truly try to find outlets of other things that would make me feel happy in life and passionate, and try to pursue them in those areas. I did end up getting some valuable experiences and even landed myself at an Ivy League college. When I went to college, I considered picking volleyball back up, but fate was just like, no, that is apparently not happening to you. I wanted to at least try out for the club volleyball team, and literally first week of freshman year, I went to one event that they had, and I just entirely destroyed and tore my hamstrings. The first week of freshman year. Like literally for the first couple months of freshman year, I couldn't even walk properly to class. When sophomore year rolled around, I actually tried to give it another goal, and I ended up hurting that same hamstring. And I just honestly took a sign from fate that maybe this is just not the right time for me to explore this area in my life anymore. So I decided to close that chapter in my book for now. Which leads to part 3, trying something new. And that's where figure skating came in. Having done sports my whole life, it was so hard to just sit there and do nothing. After recovering from injury, I ended up taking up distance running just because it was something easy to pick up. So I ended up running some half marathons, some 5Ks. That was one outlet for me to, stay active and continue having that part be alive in my life. However, I did feel like something was missing. It wasn't until sophomore spring that I had like this crazy idea. Honestly, don't know what happened to me that day. I was literally just sitting on my couch and I was like, what if I tried to start figure skating? It's like something completely from left field. I never thought about pursuing it ever in my life. This is not like some childhood long lost dream. Like, what if I challenge myself to do something that I've never done before and just see where it goes? That was one of the first times in college that I truly did something for me and my happiness. Starting skating has really helped me rebuild my relationship with sports in general, even though it is quite different. Volleyball is a team sport, figure skating is an individual sport. volleyball, I can just play and look like shit and it wouldn't even matter. People are screaming on the court, I'm like on the floor rolling around, I'm sweating, I look like shit. While in skating, it's like sparkly pretty dresses, I have to do these hard jumps but still look pretty. I have to act and tell a story, connect with the audience. Like, two completely different worlds, but all helped me truly heal my relationship with sports. I think for a while it was good for me to move from a team sport to an individual sport so I can rebuild just the sports part of the relationship, of feeling confidence in myself, my own ability, setting my own goals, and that really helped me kind of take a break from the bad memories of people casting judgment on me, people saying stuff about you. Doing the individual sport really protected me from that while I was healing. Because those sports were both physically and mentally so different, it kind of helped me rewire my brain and create new connections between my body, my goals, and the sports that I do. I also ended up taking on collegiate skating and ended up ultimately joining the Penn figure skating team when I was in college, and I just met the most incredible group of girls that were just so welcoming, treated me the same way even though I was literally a beginner and didn't even know how to skate backwards. These people are still some of my closest friends today, and I cannot thank them enough for my personal healing journey and my relationship with sports. It taught me the true feeling of what having good teammates really feel like. All of that healing through my time as a figure skater leads me to part 4, which is rediscovering my relationship with volleyball as an adult. When I closed that chapter of my life in college, I never thought I would actually truly open that book again. When I first moved to New York to start my adult life here in 2020, I don't even know what happened. One day I was just so bored at work and I was just sitting there and I was like, what if I started playing volleyball again? Why not? Like, are there any opportunities in the city? At that time, I just moved, completely new city, new people. I had no idea if there were even going to be volleyball programs that would exist, let alone other people who play volleyball. Now thinking back, you live in New York. If you have something you want to do, there is probably the opportunity to do it. I didn't even know there was a community out here of people who are all equally as passionate about the sport as I am. I ended up on an internet rabbit hole and I eventually found a random clinic. I haven't touched a volleyball in a while now. I was like, let me take it slow. Let me sign up for this like intermediate clinic and just see what happens. Literally biked to Union Square. I remember that day, got knee pads 30 minutes before the class started, biked all the way back up to the Upper West Side where the first class was. That was the first day that I touched a volleyball again. And it was just also crazy because I thought that I would forget everything, that I wouldn't even know how to play again. But when I touched a ball for the first time again, I was like, whoa, like it's all coming back to me. Literally that one Celine Dion song was just like playing in my head. I was like, holy shit, it is truly all coming back to me now. So easing myself back into the sport slowly gave me a lot more confidence to actually try out for a league team in New York. I decided to take a chance and show up to a random open tryout in Manhattan. But when I showed up, seeing everyone in that gym, it definitely brought back some memories of trying out in high school. That was scary and not so pleasant. I have a lot of those feelings of not feeling good enough, being imposter, just all came flooding back. But I just knew that this was something that I had to get over in order to redefine my relationship with that sport if I loved it enough to want it to continue to be part of the rest of my life. I showed up and lo and behold, I randomly met a really great group of girls and we ended up forming a team from complete random. The whole experience was just so crazy and we even ended up winning first place in our league that season. As I slowly started playing a little bit more in the city, going to open plays, I started meeting the broader community of people out there who are just as passionate about the sport as I am. Started to meet people from all sorts of backgrounds, so different, so diverse, and so inspired in so many different ways. I literally met people who started volleyball as an adult, like my parallel track with figure skating. Surrounding myself with good people makes such a world of a difference. Of course, with any of this, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. I definitely still have moments of self-doubt. The imposter syndrome comes back. There were definitely moments that I felt like I was really putting a lot of pressure on myself again. I felt like I really had to do well in order to be accepted. Those feelings of, oh my god, if I screw up this next pass, my teammates are gonna hate me. which is not the truth, but because of what I've been through in my past, that's what I'm inclined to think. The biggest advice that helped me was to reframe the game away from me as a sole individual player, but to the broader team and how I can help the broader team. Instead of thinking, oh my god, I'm going to make such a bad pass on this next serve receive, I try to frame it away from myself. How do I make this next pass as good as possible so that my teammate who is contacting the ball next will have the highest degree of success? And the other thing I learned from creating this new relationship with the sport is that in a team sport, you should lean on your teammates sometimes. Not every day is going to be a good day. Like, there's still days where I feel like my game is shit and I'm not playing as well, and I'm obviously not happy with how I played that day. Volleyball is a team sport, and you want to also have that level of humility to say, hey, I'm really not having a good day today. Push me back on serve receive. Not every day is going to be a good day. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, and you want to leverage those strengths of your teammates. Sometimes you just have to put aside your ego and communicate and ask for help. Like, you just have to put aside the embarrassment of like, holy shit, I'm the fucking libero. Why am I asking other people to help me pass? Like, that is my job. Today, I am in a spot where I'm both figure skating and playing volleyball. Though my figure skating career is the more competitive track now for me, the tides have really flipped, and volleyball for me is still something I like and enjoy doing competitively. If there's one thing that I would want you to take away from this video is that don't let something that happened to you in the past define your ability to reconnect and re-pursue and rediscover something you love so much and brings you so much joy. That was a lot of talking, so I should probably shut up now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way till the end if you're still here with me. I know this was kind of a longer, more personal video, but I did feel like because a lot of my channel is about figure skating, about sports, and how I balance that in my 20s and my current life, I wanted to kind of share this story with everyone. Ultimately, I'm hoping this video provides comfort and advice to people who may have also gone through a rough patch in their sports journey and want to kind of rediscover something new and take ownership of, you know, their adult life. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Leave a comment down below on what other videos you would like to see. Do you want me to do some volleyball videos? Something I haven't really explored on my channel. I think it is time to end this video. I felt like I just sat through one of my super long, hour-long therapy sessions. Thank you guys so much for going through this wild journey of my 20s with me. Alright, I'm gonna shut up. Until next time, bye guys.
Your honey sickly sweet keeps me coming, got me